Okay, my name is Scott Robinson. This is my 24th year in the Howard County school system and my 17th year at Mount Hebron High School. To me, one of the most compelling aspects of my job is that it constantly changes. As a teacher and coach, I've learned the importance of changing and adapting. Change is what keeps us fresh and innovative. Change is what keeps us from getting into a rut. The business world has countless stories of products and services that were truly different in their nature and hugely successful due to some managers' ingenious assessment of the unique opportunities with which they were presented. There were equal number of case studies of missed opportunities when leadership failed to size up the situation and could not adapt their thinking to accommodate their circumstances. Thinking outside of the box is a popular phrase that sums up this perspective very well. In the mid-1990s, the Howard County school system did think outside of the box. Wild Lake High School was a mere 24 years old when the building was deemed inadequate. The board decided to keep the gymnasium, classify the project as a renovation, and build a new structure around the existing gymnasium. I ask you to look at your peers. Harford County changed their philosophy, deciding it was more cost-effective long-term and less disruptive short-term to build schools on their existing campuses rather than renovate older buildings. Harford County has adopted an aggressive plan replacing 3 existing high schools, Aberdeen, Bel Air, and Edgewood. Bel Air is currently under construction, Edgewood will begin in 2010, and Aberdeen is completed. In addition, they opened a brand new high school, Patterson Mill, this September. Montgomery County has begun replacing high schools and middle school in their existing sites. An on-campus replacement for Richmond Montgomery will open in December. Just 4.1 miles from the Howard County border, construction or replacement for Paint Branch will begin in January. In a forward-thinking Alexandria, a replacement for T.C. Williams, built on its existing campus, opened this year as a green school and will pay for itself in 17 years. We're asking the 2007 Howard County school system to think outside of the box. Is the renovation model that has been used repeatedly over decades in Howard County the right thing to do? Are we throwing good money after bad? Does continually patching up buildings improve the core structure of the buildings? Does it make sense to have to go back into a recent long-term high school renovation and add a new HVAC system and new windows 2 years later? Do the comprehensive costs of that renovation come close or possibly exceed the cost of a new high school that was built during the same time period? When asked by a Mount Hebron teacher how long this renovation needs to last, Mr. Allman replied, "This is it for 30 years." This means we are facing a decision of enormous significance. We need to think long-term and make the best use of taxpayers' money. Let's look to the future for all the students in Howard County and embrace change. Whatever the circumstances, we must be both able and willing to adapt our behavior and our actions to position ourselves for the students to be successful in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Johnny Nussbaum, Thomas Frisello, Ginger Segala, Mark Coates.
4 years ago, my daughter earned her driver's license, and she needed a car. My wife and I had a decision to make. We had a 7-year-old Toyota Camry with 100,000 miles on it. Should we give her that car, or should we buy her a new one? The Camry's body was in excellent shape. It had a roomy interior and showroom condition. Its drivetrain worked well, plus the vehicle had an excellent safety and reliability record. The car was worth about $6,000. We had about $2,000 put into it to make it roadworthy. A new car, not a Camry, by the way, would have cost $16,000. We chose to have the car fixed. It's still running at 1/8 the cost. We made a good decision. Let's compare this to the scenario which has been put forth for the renovation of Mount Hebron High School, our educational vehicle, if you will. Hebron has a good sound body, brick and block, but in almost every other way, the building fails to meet the needs of its population. It is a Chevy Corvair of school buildings, unsafe at any speed. It is too small for its population. Its infrastructure is no longer reliable. Its HVA systems have never worked properly. And there are a host of other well-chronicled problems, too numerous to mention here. Moreover, it has 2 major insurmountable flaws that impact the safety and well-being of those who drive it each day. The Music English Wing connects to the main building via ramps that are not ADA compliant. And it only has 2 windows for 14 rooms. The result is a claustrophobic teaching environment with horrible ventilation that I personally deem as the catacombs. The second floor is dangerously narrow and low. I am 5'6" tall, and I can touch the ceiling. If there were a fire, that particular area of the building would be a death trap. It has been suggested that Howard County spend more than half of what it would cost for a new building. What a waste of taxpayers' money. Do not spend another dime trying to fix what's not fixable. There's no argument that MTH's vehicle is the worst in the county, yet you may still think that it's worth renovating because it works so well. Well, at whose expense? The answer is simple. It's a community that's been wearing itself out, driving the heck out of it. When a wheel falls off, we put it back on, pick it up, and run with it. My room was the one in which a geyser of raw sewage shot 2 feet out of the floor while my students were taking their midterm exam. As a putrid, fecal-laden river oozed its way to the front of the room, my students held their noses, calmly got their stuff, and went into a nearby hallway to finish their exam. They did so without a hitch because they are used to acclimating every day in smaller ways to make things work. We of Mount Hebron community are creative, adaptive, and perseverant, but we are tired of it all, and yes, we are angry. We want a new building, not another lame renovation that is going to make things worse. We would eventually like to read an article in the Washington Post about a new green school in Howard County, Mount Hebron. We want you to do what you ask us to do every day. Be creative, adaptive, and perseverant. Somehow find the funding to build us a new school, put us on a road with a vehicle we can be proud of.
Thank you, Mr. Casella.